This video is sponsored by our friends at Kamikoto. Kamikoto taps into more than 800 years of traditional techniques from Japan to craft incredibly sharp, single bevel knives. These beautiful knives are made from the finest Japanese steel, and they've elevated my cooking game significantly. Each knife comes in a beautiful, heavy-duty ashwood box. They also make for an incredible gift. Each Kamikoto knife goes through a rigorous 19-step process that takes several years from start to finish to complete. Each knife is individually inspected, and Kamikoto is so confident about their knives that each one comes with a lifetime guarantee. These knives are incredible, and you don't have to take my word for it. They have been used by Michelin star chefs all over the world, and if you don't love them, you will get a full refund. Right now, Kamikoto is having their biggest sale of the year. Go to kamikoto.com/Chael. That's going to save $50 off your entire purchase price, or just click the link below. Use the promo code Chael and you will save $50 today. Does Curtis Blaydes believe that he can beat Jon Jones? Big question. It's a big question, and that's always a problem. And a lot of times when you're handicapping fights, you're giving predictions, you have to jump to the assumption that, yes, this person X knows this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Person X is going to perform to the best of their abilities. Person X is going to dig deep because he needs it more. Person X in this case is Curtis Blaydes. Now, I've got to share with you, I'm a big believer in Curtis Blaydes. I think that is a handful. I think that if anybody has been mistreated by the public, it is possibly Curtis Blaydes. I don't really know what he could do more or have done different to win you over. I do not know. He went and fought Francis when no one knew who Francis was, but they knew enough that they didn't want to fight him. No one would fight him. Curtis did. He lost. Less than 30 seconds. Begged to fight him again. Now people do know who he is. By people, I'm talking about you guys. The locker room, the roster, they knew who he was. That's why they didn't want to fight him. Curtis got the rematch and had to fly to a different country to do it. He had to go to a different continent to take on a guy that just smoked him. Got smoked again. He got smoked again in less than 30 seconds. And guess what Curtis says? I want to fight him again. And he was serious. He was dead serious. He didn't blink. He didn't back down. He didn't give up. He didn't let up. He didn't change his goals. He didn't say, I can't do this. He didn't do any whimpering at all. He came back with a real championship mindset. Whether he became champion or not, he had the championship mindset that I would have thought, I would have guessed you would have given him credit for, but he didn't get it. So he comes up the hard way and he's doing fights, and we're close to getting rid of him, right? Like our evil side as fans, where sometimes we want to boost a guy, but then sometimes we want to tear a guy down. Like our evil side almost got the job done. Because even though Curtis was winning, we decide to proclaim him boring. That he just takes people down. So Curtis hears you saying that and stops just taking people down. He starts kicking him. He starts punching him with his left hand and with his right hand, and then he would take him down. But it was no more he just took people down. And then it gets to the point where he doesn't do takedowns at all. I mean, if you want to go remember Curtis's last fight, now this is Tom, and this is 15 seconds, and not a lot that you can get for it, but I'll still submit it if you're going to force me to a time that Curtis didn't take you down at all. That fight never went down. Curtis never tried to take it down. So what I'm sharing with you is we really tried to get rid of him for whatever reason, for whatever evil side that we wanted to be jerks, and we chose Curtis Blaydes, but he came up anyway. And he came up through main events, and there's more to this story that you guys don't even know. You don't know about the time the UFC released him. You've never heard that story. And I'm not talking about way back in the day. I'm talking about this just happened. The night he lost in a main event to Derek Lewis, a fight that he was winning until the one moment that he wasn't. You guys even know that? Now, I don't say that to share somebody else's business, and I'm not going to elaborate on that, right? The fact that that story didn't come out must mean that Curtis didn't want that story out. But I disagree with Curtis. I think Curtis should tell that story. I think Curtis should talk about all the things that he's had to overcome. From monsters in front of him, like Ngannou, to being held down, he gets teased because he has a little bit of a stutter. You guys wonder why you don't hear a lot of Curtis interviews? He doesn't like to do interviews. He doesn't like to do them because he stutters a little bit and somebody teased him somewhere along the way. Guarantee nobody's teasing him now. He gets released from the UFC. He was a main event. It doesn't matter if you win or not. If you're a main event, you slide down the card, right? That's how your career works. You bust in, you work up the card. On your way out, you slide down the card till there's nowhere else to go, and now you're off the stage. Went from a main event, he finds himself released. Returns to the organization, returns to main events, and now, quite possibly, is going to be in a world title fight. If Curtis Blaydes is to fight Jon Jones in March, whatever happened with Stipe, we never know. Stipe stays very quiet. Stays very quiet, so we don't know. We got to end up guessing. But with Francis, we have a pretty good idea. Francis has been pretty good at telling us. Between the knee and the contract, Francis does a pretty good job of filling us in. But if we get to that point in March, I don't think that we're talking about just fighting. And I don't know for sure that we're talking about fighting for an interim belt. I believe if we get to March, even if we had to strip somebody, I think we're talking about an undisputed championship. Now, that's neither here nor there, quite frankly. If they put a belt up for Curtis Blaydes, who nobody's done anything for, who got released quietly, who somehow didn't want to tell you guys that he was released. I don't mean to talk about Curtis's business, but we're now in the spirit. We're going to build Curtis up. And part of building somebody up, you got to tell the story, and you got to tell all of the story. And I don't agree with him. I don't think that he should be embarrassed at all. I think the fact that he scratched and clawed and manipulated, and however find his way back and found himself in the main events and now finds himself in a title fight, I think he should be very proud. I think that he should tell that entire story. But does he believe that he can beat Jon Jones? You're going to look at Jon, you're going to look at his wrestling, right? Jon takes a guy down one time. When that guy gets up, whether the round ended or he scrambled to his feet, that person is now different. Can Jon take Curtis down? Well, the biggest thing that Jon has ever won is a junior college national championship. You may not know this. So did Curtis. Jon won it at 197 pounds. Curtis won it at heavyweight. That doesn't make them equal wrestlers, but it's a starting point. It's a place to begin. We know there's something to be said for youth, and we know that there's something to be said for momentum. Jon Jones is older, and Jon Jones has been on the sideline for 3 years. It's a little favor to Curtis Blaydes. Does Curtis understand it? Does he recognize it? Because Curtis has called a lot of people out. Very quietly and only once, and you got to look for it. But he has. He's never called out Jon Jones. Is that a respect factor? Probably not. Is that a fear factor? Probably not. Is it a likelihood I could ever get the match because the guy is either not fighting or he's in a different weight class? I think that's probably why I didn't call him out. But I would like to hear this from Curtis. Very big deal if these two get matched up. They're going to do nothing. They're going to do nothing to excite. Nothing. So we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to get this going. We're going to have to make sure that we tell the story. All of it. The whole story. You start to look at that match, you start to realize that when I tell you Curtis Blaydes stylistically is the biggest problem Jon's ever had, you start to see I'm right.